Thousands of pounds of food given out today in Trotwood. The food bank hosting a bonus food distribution. Mamie Ba is live from Trotwood tonight after speaking with organizers. And Mamie, where does the need stand?
Well, I'm told right now the need is really all over the place, but today in this parking lot, dozens of people were here and everyone was just helping out the best that they could. Now, the food bank tells me that in Ohio, that more than 99,000 people are facing food insecurity, but it actually believes that number is higher because not everyone wants to come forward to admit that.
Also, it got cold really quick, as evidenced by what many of us are wearing today. So heating bills are going to increase. We know inflation, high gas prices, and high food costs are really impacting a family's food budget at the end of the day.
Now, Mamie, what was the response from the community out there?
Well, everyone in the community here was just so grateful for the fresh produce and the sweets and the volunteers. I just want to take a moment to talk about them. They were just very happy to help as best as they could and making sure that if anyone needed anything extra that they do ask. But coming up today at 6:30, we'll be hearing from Representative Phil Plummer. He was here as well, loading some pumpkins into a truck and helping out and talking to people in the community, what he has to say about food insecurity and also Gem City Market not accepting WIC. Back to you.
Mamie, thanks so much. The federal WIC program helping women, infants and children is getting $53 million in funding. That money is going to go towards outreach efforts and also better communication with recipients. WIC provides food, nutrition education, breastfeeding support and healthcare referrals to certain low-income families.
Well, it's week 10 of Thursday Night Lights. We are at Welcome Stadium as Ponence is about to take on Meadowdale, and it is a cold one. Certainly needing a coat, something to keep yourself warm if you are heading out to the game this evening. My hands are cold, so gloves will definitely come in handy. 53 in Dayton, we have 54 in Sydney, 50 in Urbana. But compared to this time yesterday, this is actually an improvement. We're 7 degrees warmer right now up in Wapakoneta, 5 degrees warmer in Greenville, and the warming trend will only continue on. So for tonight, again, heading out to the game, you want to be bundled up because we'll drop into the 40s, but not quite as cold by early tomorrow morning. Coming up, I'm talking about 70s back in the forecast. I'll let you know when those arrive coming up here in just a little bit.
Natalie, thanks so much. A new round of COVID-19 variants are now brewing, and health experts are worried about a surge in new coronavirus cases this winter. The Ohio Department of Health says there are tools to fight it and help keep family gatherings normal as the holidays approach. Their message starts with prevention, which they say begins with the newly updated boosters and original vaccines.
Vaccinations and boosters are a very effective way to build that highly protective B and T cell immunity that is so important in preventing hospitalization and death from COVID-19. So my message is that if you are not vaccinated or boosted, now is the time, as you can acquire significant protection before these new variants become widespread.
Dr. Vanderhoff adds that masking, improved ventilation, and staying home when you're sick are all important steps to help keep the spread of the virus under wraps this winter. Now, in terms of the national COVID strategy, a CDC panel is considering adding the COVID vaccine to the agency's recommended vaccination schedule for students. It'll be up to each state to decide whether or not they want to adopt the CDC's guidelines then and mandate them in schools. Current CDC guidance says all kids 6 months and older should get one COVID shot and kids 5 and up should get boosted. Tonight, the midterm elections are less than 3 weeks away. Ohio's first and second ladies leading our Ohio Family statewide tour today in Montgomery County. Fran DeWine and Tina Husted are talking with voters about Republican priorities to grow the economy and also build a better future for Ohio families. They visited Phillips Tube Group in Middletown today. That is the largest independent woman-owned manufacturer of precision steel tubes in the entire country. Now, Governor DeWine has refused to debate in the race for governor, so instead of a formal debate, gubernatorial candidate Nan Whaley is hosting the Debates Ohio Deserves. It's a series of forums to take place before Election Day. She's holding one of those events tonight right here in Dayton, and our cameras are going to be there sitting down with Whaley one-on-one in a Dayton 24/7 Now exclusive interview. So be sure to tune in tonight at 10 and 11 to hear what she had to say, and tomorrow we'll bring you a full breakdown. Well, as candidates make their final push to get your vote, mis- and disinformation campaigns are trying to get you to buy into their messaging as well. Christian Hauser shows us a nonpartisan, nonprofit group that's been working to clear election misinformation now for more than a century.
The League of Women Voters was born out of the women's suffrage movement. However, once women gained the right to vote, this national, state, and local group focused on getting voters the information they needed to make an informed decision at the poll. Even though it's the League of Women Voters, the group works to empower everyone. The nonprofit publishes a voter election guide every year. Here's how easy it is. Just plug in your address. We'll use Riverside Drive for this example. Then you can see everything you'll be voting on. Let's take a look at the race for Montgomery County Commissioner between Republican Jordan Wortham and Democrat Carolyn Rice. You can read their bios and then scroll down to see how each candidate answered the same question from the League of Women Voters. Now, none of the responses are edited by the League of Women Voters. There is a lot of mis- and disinformation out there. If it sounds too salacious to be true, it probably is. So always check the source of any articles you read. You should not interact or share any mis- or disinformation you see online. All that will do is help to continue the spread. You should report it to whatever social media platform you're seeing it on. In Cincinnati, I'm Christian Hauser. Back to you.
Christian, thanks so much. And as the election season gets underway, we have resources to help you. We've been speaking exclusively with the candidates as they travel through the Miami Valley, plus what you can expect at the polls. You can find all of our election coverage by visiting Dayton247now.com and clicking on the Beyond the Podium heading right there in the News tab. Well, the UK's new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, has resigned. She made that announcement this morning just after 45 days of taking office.
I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
Now, Truss is now the shortest serving prime minister in history. She's going to remain in office until a successor is chosen. Truss has been facing sharp criticism after her economic plan triggered financial turmoil in the UK's markets. Inflation there spiked to 10.1% in September. Truss was the last prime minister to kiss the hand of Queen Elizabeth II just 2 days before the Queen died. Well, President Biden reacting to the news on Twitter today, thanking Truss for her partnership. He says, quote, "We will continue our close cooperation with the UK government as we work together to meet the global challenges our nations face." A Princeton University student from Ohio who disappeared nearly a week ago has been found dead tonight. The body of 20-year-old Misrach Onete was discovered today near the edge of the university's campus. Authorities say there are no preliminary signs of trauma and an autopsy will determine the cause of death. She was last seen heading to her dorm room at 3 a.m. last Friday morning. The university had a massive ground search with a helicopter, drones, and watercraft combing that entire area. Onete was a class valedictorian at her Cleveland High School and was a member of Princeton's class of 2024. Former President Trump might be open to extending a hand to the DOJ. His attorneys could invite the Justice Department to search his Mar-a-Lago estate again. This is according to sources. The department has said in court filings that it thinks Trump might be holding on to even more classified documents. Well, the fate of the Biden administration student loan debt forgiveness plan is now in the legal system. Up next, what still needs to happen before loans can start to be forgiven.
And I'm Matt Digby. Coming up also in a few minutes, hear from the two head coaches, Daryl Wilson and Derek Shepard. They'll be involved in Thursday Night Lights as Ponens gets ready to face Meadowdale.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
How cold was it this morning? Cold enough for frost to appear on plants and grass in Pensacola, Florida. That is very early for a first frost there. And while this is a pretty sunrise from Washington State, the real story is the rain that will start falling on Friday. The region desperately needs the rain to clear out the wildfire smoke and improve air quality, recently ranked among the worst in the world.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
After 10 weeks, tonight is the season finale of Thursday Night Lights. And this evening, we feature a Dayton Public Schools matchup. Matt Digby is live at Welcome Stadium tonight, where Ponence is facing Meadowdale. And Matt, both teams are entering their season finale with something to play for.
Yeah, Megan, hard to believe we have already reached week 10 of Thursday Night Lights, week 10 of the high school football season. But the fact that this is a season finale for both the Ponence Golden Panthers and the Meadowdale Lions, so the chance to close on a win, that's always providing plenty of motivation. But also at stake tonight, a chance to win a share of the Dayton Public Schools regular season title. Whoever wins tonight will finish 3-1 in league play, though they would have to wait on the outcome of the Saturday game between Dunbar and Belmont to find out if they do get a co-championship. But even though the records weren't what they were hoping for, the two head coaches, Darrell Wilson and Darke Shepard, say their teams have made a lot of growth, and tonight presents a chance to showcase that growth.
We continue to fight week in and week out. Kids came to practice every day, continued to work hard, showed a lot of grit. We were able to learn from our mistakes week to week, and I feel like we're continuing to battle.
I try to tell them, don't be a deer in headlights. If it get too bright for you, that means you got to step up, And I always tell them, you're not only out there representing yourself, but you represent your family. You also represent Meadowdale.
So again, back here live at Welcome Stadium. One note we just learned about in the last couple of minutes, Darke Shepard actually will not be here in person tonight for the Lions because of a death in his family. We send our best wishes to the Shepard family. Lucius DeReese will be the acting head coach for the Lions. But the stage is set. Coach Jim Place and I will see you on MyTV Dayton, also streaming online and on Facebook starting at 7 o'clock. We'll send it back to Megan in the studio. Live from Welcome Stadium, I'm Matt Digby, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Matt, thanks so much. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and other social media sites are under legal fire tonight. They face more than 80 lawsuits alleging that they designed their platforms to get kids hooked. Legal experts say it's going to be a class action lawsuit similar to incidents like contaminated water or even asbestos. The platforms argue they are not responsible for what third parties put on their site, but whistleblowers have said otherwise.
The problem and the argument is going to be that these social media platforms, pursuant to, our whistleblower that we heard last year before the Senate, is that they're curating and delivering content, keeping kids on, and they know that it's causing kids to self-harm, to have body image problems, and to commit suicide in some cases.
Now, everything was filed with the courts after a former Facebook employee testified that internal documents showed the companies were aware of the harm that they cause to young teens. Big tech companies argue they are working to remove harmful content. At least 8 million people have already applied for student loan forgiveness. That's according to the White House. But legal experts say the fate of the program now lies in the hands of the Supreme Court. President Biden says the forgiveness plan is legal according to the HEROES Act. The law was passed after 9/11 and allows loan forgiveness during periods of hardship in the nation, such as war or natural disaster. The president says the pandemic qualifies as hardship, but legal experts say the high court will have to agree before loans can actually start to be forgiven. A group in Wisconsin has already asked the Supreme Court to step in, but it hasn't been officially referred just yet.
Well, it's week 10 of Thursday Night Lights. We're here at Welcome Stadium, and it is a cold one as Ponence is about to take on Meadowdale. Overall, plan on chilly conditions if you're heading out to the game. Bring the gloves, a hat, something to keep yourself nice and comfortable. Feeling like football weather, but one thing we do have is some sunshine out there. Now, the sun is behind the bleachers, but it did manage to warm things up just a bit more after some clouds rolled their way through earlier into the day. You can see how those clouds have cleared out. We'll see a few clouds streaming through as we head into the rest of the evening and overnight, but overall plan on a mostly clear sky. Here's a look at what we're expecting as we move through time. We will see temperatures falling into the 30s by early tomorrow morning, upper 30s, some lower 40s. Not quite as cold. We'll stay above freezing tonight. And then by Friday afternoon, we'll climb back up into the 60s. We're even tracking some mid to upper 60s before we start to see things cool off again. Heading into our Saturday, we'll see 60s and eventually some 70s in the forecast. I'll talk about that warm trend coming up.
Natalie, thanks. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Deputy Secretary stopping by the Dayton VA campus today. He toured the medical center, the Dayton National Cemetery, and also the new National VA History Center. The more than $34 million project combines two existing historical buildings on the VA's campus to provide more artifact storage and restoration space.
There's no better place to have it than right here in Dayton. This is the right place at the right time to bring together all of the magnificent history of the Department of Veterans Affairs and to reflect upon the service that veterans have provided to this nation.
The Deputy Secretary also met with the facility's leaders, frontline staff, and local veterans to talk about the historic PACT Act. It extends VA health care and benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxic substances. A story now from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal. A new tenant may be coming to a Dayton area industrial park. A commercial building permit is now under review for a building located at Park 7075. That's a 400-acre master planned industrial park right next to the Dayton International Airport. The applicant is listed as MP Brait Farm LLC and would bring more jobs to the area. Previous projects near the airport had brought high-profile companies to the Dayton region, including Crocs, Purina Mills, and Procter & Gamble. And we have all the details right now on Dayton247now.com. You can find this story plus others like it right there under the Dayton Business Journal heading in the News tab. Well, Ryan Day holds a Zoom call every week, and today's was especially revealing. He said the Buckeye backfield is good to go Saturday in their game against underdog Iowa. Clay Hall tells us what we can all expect.
Hey, what's up, Dayton? Clay Hall here in Columbus, and just getting off the Zoom with Ryan Day as Ohio State hopes to go 7-0 on Saturday at high noon. Couple of personnel updates today. He did say yes when asked about Jackson Smith-Njigba. Yes, he feels better about where he is today than he has been in previous points, but did not zero in on his participation on Saturday. He did say the backfield good to go. Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams used the off week, the bye week, to their advantage. They're healthy and ready to play. He did say his team has to sacrifice more in the second half of the season to reach their goals. And I asked him, what does that mean for Ryan Day? And he says, hey, less sleep, maybe more work. You've got to be better than your competition. And we know the road gets tougher down the road. That's it for now. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Clay. A live look now from our Kettering Health Sky Cam. A little milder out today, but still chilly if you're planning on heading out to our Thursday night lights matchup. Natalie is there now tracking some major changes to our forecast. Natalie.
Yeah, in fact, one day is going to make a huge difference because it's still chilly out here right now. Certainly needing a coat, something to keep yourself warm this evening. But tomorrow night for Football Friday night, a different story. Now, likely still will need a jacket, but going to be much warmer. We're actually going to climb into the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. And then notice by the weekend, we're tracking mid 70s in the forecast, very warm. That's going to be more than 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year. But we also have some rain in the forecast. It's going to be a little while before we get some, but coming up, I'll have a look at your 7-day, let you know when we'll finally see some of that much needed rain.
Natalie, thanks. It is almost time for the weekend, and if you're still looking for something to do, the Oregon District may be a great destination for you. Still ahead, the two events expected to draw some big crowds. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
The Oregon District in downtown Dayton is going to be hopping this weekend. Elise Coulter shows us the 2 events going on and also how you can have some fun.
The signs are posted here along 5th Street in the Oregon District, just outside of Blind Bob's and everywhere else. And it's going to be happening at the Yellow Cab Tavern. Guys, I am talking about one of the best music festivals that happens in Dayton every single year. This is going to be backwards, so I'm going to apologize. But the Dayton Music Fest kicking off tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here at Blind Bob's, but also at Yellow Cab Tavern. And what's great, there's going to be like 11 live bands, several singer-songwriters, a really cool DJ. They're playing all weekend long, Fridays and Saturday night, here at Blind Bob's and at Yellow Cab Tavern. And another exciting thing happening in the Oregon District this weekend, Dia de Muertos, which of course is the celebration for the Day of the Dead. So there's a lot of action that's going to be happening here in the Oregon District in downtown Dayton. So make sure you come on out and celebrate.
Well, a chilly one out here for our final Thursday night lights. We're here at Welcome Stadium. The players are starting to get warmed up on the field, and they do need to get warmed up because, again, it is a cold one out here. Temperatures have overall been in the 50s. They'll drop into the 40s for the rest of the game. And then tonight, not quite as cold as we have been. We'll drop into the upper 30s overnight. And then notice as we head into our Friday, we actually start to see temperatures climb back up into the upper 60s. So it's going to be a big difference, more than 10 degrees warmer than we were today, and that's with some sunshine. And then we continue with that warming trend. We're tracking mid-70s through the weekend, lots of sunshine. Now next Tuesday or next Wednesday and Thursday, we do have our next weather maker that will look to move its way in. As of right now, it does look like we could see some rain with this, which is much needed at this point. But coming up, I'll be here again at 6:30 on Fox 45 for Thursday Night Lights.